And as you know, the Society of Sacred Flowers, like you've read up there at the webpage, societyofsacredflowers.org, or you've looked on the webpage or heard these podcasts. The Society is promoting sanity, reality. And as you look on the big view of history, changes happen in religion. They don't stay static. And that there has been an ongoing effort, though, that is always named fundamentalism or extremism or just plain idiocy, that is tied to religious nuts who try and, grip and hold tight to their control, to their myths, for their justifications of abuse of others. It's happened throughout history. And throughout history, there has always been the reaction, the schisms that have happened. You see it in history. Buddha, look at 500 or so BC time frame, whatever we call it nowadays, 500 BC, whatever it is. Buddha was a schism from Hinduism. Branched off. And he was a change from the tight caste system and repression of Hinduism into the more equanimity, equality, of Buddhism, what became Buddhism. And then in the, what's that one? Judaism. Well, the idea of whether he existed or not, I don't know if it's a myth or whatever, but if there was a Jesus guy, it was a schism out of Judaism. And Judaism had its system and repressions and all that stuff going. And here comes the Jesus, and he's saying equanimity, equality as well. Schisming away. Now both of them still hold on to these other kind of this and that's of the tenets of the thing, but because, Jesus was a Jew. You have to remember, he wasn't suddenly just a whole brand new thing. He was a Jew. Buddha was from a background of Hindu. They're Hindu. Well, now you've come all these centuries since then. And you've seen these efforts of repression and ignorance that have been perpetuated against you through the centuries. There's plenty of examples. Here's the church, the Catholic Church, trying to kill Galileo and others like him because he dared to actually look and study and analyze reality, not just accept their myths and fraud. Okay? Same with their Inquisition, the Spanish Inquisition, which was out to, brutalize in particular, really, Jews, because they're not Christians. Oh, geez, no. And Islamics as well. And they was out to throw them, destroy them, kill them, throw them out, torture them, whatever. That was part of the whole thing of the Inquisition. And then you got even here recently, you've seen it, like Islam with the Sunnis fighting the Shia. Now they're both Islam, but it's like the Catholic Church and all the Protestants. They were busy murdering each other too. Control, domination, wacko stuff. Well, here you come through the centuries, and here we are now in the 21st century. And you still see right now all those dark age religions that are trying to cling to their myths, superstitions, that are justifying repression of women, repression of homosexual, repression and justification for violence against people who are not part of their religion as well. Stupid stuff. Here in the 21st century, it's so glaringly obvious that you just, you don't buy it because you are 21st century. You understand it. You've grown out of it. Just kind of a natural evolution has happened as well. And you're not part of it. You're no longer part of that stuff. So there's a new schism that is happening. Society of Sacred Flowers is that schism that's taken away throwing out all that myth. Throw it all out. You don't need creation myth. Don't need any stories about mythic creation of the earth at all. At all. I don't care. Don't care. We have in the Society of Sacred Flowers, it's equanimity. It's so glaringly obvious, that's what you have to do. Equal rights. So homosexuals, women, equal rights. We don't care. Fine. All that stuff is, the worries of all that stuff is like so antiquated, so passé, so glaringly stupid to be still trying to assert some dark age myths from a dark age book written by people who were so ignorant they didn't know anything. And they just made it up. They just made up. And they threw in their making up, well, you got to behave this way because if you don't, you're going to suffer. For social control. Well, we let all that crap go. We're over that. We're the 21st century. We are a schism of that. Just the kind of, you could say, the natural historical progression of intelligence. And it's a distillation down to the basic truths. There really is the bottom line inherent truth of what humans are. What is your purpose? What do you do? Well, it's basic. It's glaringly obvious. It's not some big mystery, folks. It's not some big hysteria. It's all these centuries you've been hearing that, it's so cheese. It's so mythic. It's so mysterious. The purpose of life. Josh, it's glaringly obvious. You're born here, you live for some duration, and you die here. Fact. So what do you do during this duration that you have? Right? Well, isn't that obvious? You're living in human community. Humans need to live in community. It works better. And by doing so, they set up justifiably some boundaries of activities so that we can all live together comfortably, safely, healthy, all of that together. And in there is equal rights. See, all those myths are gone. All the myths are gone. Equal rights. That'll make the community a lot better. Work together to benefit each other. So your basic motivation. See, it's all down to motivation then. For your whole life. Everything you do. Be a benefit to others. And in doing that through your whole life, you're going to accomplish the purpose of your being alive. Whatever you do, that's it. Your first motivation in all action, the business you do, how you do business, what you make, as well as your interpersonal relationships, the whole thing. Government, legislation, dealings with other countries. Be a benefit to others. Helpful, cooperative, mutually benefit, and environmentally correct as well. There it is. And in doing so, what do you generate? Generosity, kindness, helpfulness, courtesy, all the things that make a society function together safely. That's what you want. That's what you need in the 21st century. And the big mystery was the intentional ignorance of knowing what all this was in the first place. They didn't know. They didn't know anything. So they made up big things of, well, there's this place, oh boy, if you don't do what we say, oh boy, you're going to suffer in this mystical place, after you die. Oh boy, you're going to suffer. Oh geez. It's so glaringly obvious it's just social control. And of course, it's the lack of knowing anything about anything. Oh, but if you follow what we say and you do what we say, you're going to go to this happy land where, it's just great. Oh, geez, you get it. Oh, geez, you're just going to be great. Same way. Just made up. It's made up. It's all made up. And what's important to you, the reality of living, comes from that clear understanding. You're born here, you live for some duration, you die here. And in that duration, what do you do? Well, be a benefit to others. Now, is there something, isn't there something mystical? Isn't there something fabulous? Isn't there something just bigger than that? I mean, just, top of the charts, gosh, out there. Well, there is. You had it all along. You have it all along. You always have had it. It permeates everything. But in that takes a different effort. But it still has the same motivation. Be a benefit to others. Doesn't deviate. It's a key part of the whole thing. And see how it's the distillation down here in the 21st century? What's the religion? There's one thing. Be a benefit to others. Helpful. Cooperate. Work together. Mutually benefit each other. So that we all have clean air, clean water. So that we all have healthy, natural, organic food. So that we all have health care. It benefits all of us. And our kids, and our grandkids, and on down the line. And it diminishes and it throws out biases, prejudice, racism, religious myth of all these ignorant people. Because you get it. You get it. You understand. That's where we got to go. You have to be that political candidate who has that agenda. You have to vote for candidates who have that agenda. You put that agenda into your life, that motivation, be a benefit to others. You teach your kids, and that's the basis of life, be a benefit to others. That's what you do in life. That's the basic thing. That's what you do in government, business, the whole works. And in there, we become what we truly know, what we 21st century know. We're free of all that other stuff. As we always say, we've come out of this darkness. We feel like we're suddenly standing in the light of this knowledge, all that we get and understand. And on top of it, you understand, you are that light.